Okay, so today we are going to talk about the power of a media-based syllabus. As Dion mentioned, I do a lot of work in online and blended learning, and we started really looking at humanization of our language courses, especially when our students are dispersed. And one of the things we started doing was this idea of more of a graphic or media-based syllabus. So without further ado, wait, did somebody have something? Oh, that was my intro if we had extra time. But I'm going to give you all access to these slides, actually. So if you wanted to play that, you can. It's just a fun song it's in the syllabus. If you feel so inclined to check that out. Okay. So moving on, we always introduce the syllabus at the beginning of a course. And we walk our students, this is typical, you walk your students through the important parts. You ask what questions they might have. There usually aren't very many, or they don't know what questions they have because they just got this information. And then a few weeks later, or throughout the semester, we find them coming to us and us having to remind them that the information they're asking for, it's all in the syllabus. So give me a thumbs up if you're tired of repeating that, because I suspect a lot of you are. Okay, put in the chat why you think that happens. Why is it that you've given them this information? Why are they still asking these questions? I'll give you a minute to do that. Information overload, that's a big one. Yeah, just in time. And I want you to tell me when I need it. Yep. And if you think about it, that a lot of you are putting it's just too much to absorb. Those students have more than one class. So they're going through this for probably 2, maybe even 3 days of just learning about what's in the syllabus in every single course they have. And it all kind of meshes together, right? And trying to keep it all apart. These are good. The flat syllabus doesn't invite or structure much engagement. Absolutely. And it's hard to humanize something that's flat, for sure. In fact, I just saw a meme the other day that made me think a little bit about the flat earth people, and that if the earth were really flat, cats would have knocked everything off of it by now. I thought that was kind of funny. All right. Whoops, I went one too far. Okay, so these are a lot of the things that you guys just came up with. It's not a surprise. So why, if that's the case, do we keep doing the same thing, right? So, why are we going to continue this same process over and over again and think that something different is going to happen? In an effort to better meet our students' needs, we started changing that up, and we started providing a more graphic or interactive syllabus to our students, so it wasn't flat. And we do find that it has helped us have fewer questions as a result. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about and share some examples of a few different syllabi that get interactive and start to really humanize that learning experience. And this works in any discipline. So what are first the sort of reasons to adopt this? It grabs their attention really quickly. We can drive interaction and knowledge, and that human factor starting from the beginning. You know, at least in the States, students usually have about 10 days, maybe a little bit less, to choose whether they're going to keep a class or drop it and have it not show up on their record. So those first days are really key to connecting with all of your students so that they choose to continue in your course, right? So building that connection from the very beginning, one of the ways we can do it is by personalizing a little bit what we're sharing with them. You know, the syllabus is typically very, very informational, but if you create a graphic or media-based syllabi, you can start to add more of yourself into it. You don't have to worry about the space that it's taking up if it's digital. So those are some of the sort of reasons why we went this direction. And obviously, because it doesn't make sense to keep repeating something that's not working. So this first example that I want to share with you, this is from a French course. Let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger. I know that the writing's small, and that's probably less important. So we have an image of the instructor for starters. A lot of flat syllabi don't even have that much. It's just all words. But the other thing is these sort of graphics that point the students in the direction of the information you know that they most need. And they know then where to look for it, because students today, anyway, they think more visually. They're bombarded by media and visual things all day long. And so to see these sort of icons, the physical icons, draw their attention to what each section is about. And then they'll know better where to go back to in the syllabus. And this is one of my favorite parts of what this particular instructor did. So she creates this graph that shows the different percentages. That's one of the most common questions, is how much is this worth, right? So she's got this graph here, and then each color in this graph, she reused down here to point out what that section is and tell a little bit more about it and how often they're going to have to, so every other week they're going to have a quiz. Well, the quizzes are 15% of the grade, so they can sort of visually match these things. And then we all have those requirements that our institutions have us put in our syllabus about things like accessibility and inclusivity and all of that. That can stay as text, because that's the kind of stuff that the students only really go back to if they absolutely need it. So they're out sick for a long time, they need to know a makeup policy, or they have a disability, they need to know what to do for accommodations. But that's sort of a one-time go back to it sort of information, whereas this kind of information is the stuff that they're always asking about and they always want to go back to. So making it visual for them to really connect to it and know where to look for it. When you have pages and pages, I've seen some syllabi that are like 10 pages long, and trying to find what it is you're looking for is pretty annoying. So this has really helped a lot of our students to get more connected to the course and know where to go to find something when they actually need it. So let me go back to my slides here. There we go. So the elements that we look for in media-based syllabus include the instructor photo, which you saw, and graphics. But we can also do, if assuming at this point everybody has some sort of website for their course, that you would be able to do an actual welcome video and a variety of interactive elements. So I'm going to show you an example of that as well, and where you can get more information and kind of teach yourself, even if you wanted to do something of that nature. There are a number of tools that you can use. So the syllabus that I just showed you, that was actually just done in Microsoft Word. So nothing fancy. You don't have to have any magic tricks up your sleeve or be a super graphics person. That was just done in Microsoft Word using text boxes and color shading. So all tools that I suspect everybody here has access to relatively easily. And then for if you're getting a little bit more creative and you want to start doing video, here's some possible technologies you can use. These are actually even to create a website for your course if you don't already have one. I know a lot of institutions are using learning management systems. Sometimes those are very friendly, sometimes not so much. So some of our instructors have gone outside of the learning management system for this part and linked it within the learning management system just so that they could have more flexibility in their page design and that sort of thing. But these are all ways that you could, or technologies that you could use if you wanted to do a free site that was interactive and you didn't have that ability within your learning management system. I'm going to show you an example now. The first one is in Wakelet. This is a Spanish instructor. Go over to her syllabus and see if I can make this a little bit bigger too so you can see it. So this is a Wakelet example. Kate teaches Spanish at a community college in Madison. And this is her intro video. I won't play the whole thing, but I'll give you an idea.
Let's get off to a great start with our course by reading the course syllabus.
Early, but
this is a media-based syllabus, so you simply need to scroll down and read or watch or listen to or review all of the elements in the syllabus. It's very interactive. In particular,
at the beginning part, and apparently I had pre-started this video, which I didn't mean to do, she does introduce herself, talks a little bit about her and her family. And then as you can see, I don't know what's going on with my voice this morning. She mentions how to use the syllabus, but she doesn't tell you what's in it. So as I scroll down, her course is done with these pathways. And what she did here was she created this video that explains the pathways. And then she also has a visual of the pathways that explains it again in writing. So now we're thinking about accessibility. You've got your visual learners, you've got people that do better listening, people that do better reading. She's hitting all of those pieces. And I forgot to mention on the first syllabus that I showed you, the French one, that being done in Word and can be saved as a PDF, it meets all of the accessibility requirements also that we have. So there's no worries there. And then again, she's using color to help separate out when students are physically together synchronously and when they're doing work asynchronously. So again, the color kind of helps them. I'm not sure why my screen is flashing like that. Your typical sort of day-to-day. And then after we get past all of that, she has these scenarios, and she basically has the students think about a variety of scenarios related to which pathway the students are in and how they should respond in particular if a certain issue were to come up. And then she asks them to pause their video, think about it, and think about what they would tell said student who has this issue. And then you continue playing and she gives her advice. And all of that is followed by this syllabus challenge, which is no longer working because it was a Mentimeter, but it was just a way to sort of check what they know. So making it a little bit more interactive. The Mentimeter guarantees, because she can collect the data from it, guarantees that they've actually looked at it, and gives her an idea of the areas that students most misunderstood, if you will, and she can always readdress those if she needs to. So that's one example of more interactive syllabus. This idea of a liquid syllabus came from Michelle Pacansky Brock. And if you're not familiar with the term, I know I was not familiar with the term. The idea comes from marketing, actually. So if any of you happen to teach marketing, you may know this, but liquid content basically is referring to content that is highly shared. It's something that people really want to know, and it's kind of like a viral idea, if you will, and it gets shared across the internet. So it can describe something memorable or significant. So if we think about a syllabus, to us as instructors, it's significant. It's important content. We want it to be memorable. So thinking about ways to make it a memorable syllabus, that's something that Michelle has worked quite a bit on. And she actually even offers a short course on creating your own. So if you were to click on this link, I already opened it just to be sure it worked. This is her page. And right here, this is actually a course that's open, that's in Canvas, and it can walk you through the steps of creating a liquid syllabus. And then there is also a link here to a biology course. Somebody who did all of this, who is familiar with the liquid syllabus, who learned how to make one. And this is their syllabus, if it loads. There we go. So I'm gonna...
Hi there, I'm Professor Norquist. I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. Before I got to visit this awesome desert called Joshua Tree, my story began at SDSU. As an undergrad, I studied biology. I was known for doing heart surgery on mice, about 5 mice a day at least 3 times a week. I would travel throughout California presenting my research on STEM.
So as you can see, she has a really nice video made basically of still slides. So this is something that actually could be done in PowerPoint even, and you just record your voiceover, which is a feature that PowerPoint now has, and then you save it as an MP4 and you put it on your website. So as the video goes on, she continues to talk about sort of how she got to where she is as a biology teacher. That can be really powerful in building that connection that I was talking about, and really humanizing the connection with your students that we want to grab in those first few days so that they decide to stay. And these are some of the things that students will remember, we've found, more so than the other, 3 or 4 courses that they have, where they're just, walking in, the instructor's talking to them, walking them through the syllabus, and they go out, right? So this can be really powerful. And then throughout this page, she covers the other parts that are important to her teaching philosophy. She adds in, pictures and other graphics to sort of get people engaged with who she is and what they're going to be learning. Her advice for how to be a successful learner, and the different ways that they can get the support that they need. So in this particular case, there's the technical support, accommodations, health services, tutoring, and so on. And she has all of that in just a website, a free website. This one was done in Google. So that's another option for sort of a way to help engage students in this sort of visual learning process, if you will. I'm going to go back to my slides here. Okay, so as I mentioned, these were done in Word docs. This is just another example. This is a Japanese instructor. Let's see if it'll open up, because this one, it's going to take a minute to do that, isn't it? I didn't have this one open ahead of time. Well, that's all right. We have an extra minute just to show you another example. Give me a second here. Oh, it's not going to show up because I'm only sharing my browser. Okay. This one, if you click on it, you'll be able to download it because I'm going to share my slides with you. Whoops. You'll be able to click on it. I'll share my slides with you, and then you'll be able to see more of what she did. Same kind of idea as the first one. So you can start out easy. You know, if creating a video of yourself is not your deal, that's okay too. You can start out with something that's semi-flat, we'll call it, because it does have some graphics in it. It does help to humanize it. It can break up the way you've got things organized, whether you're doing a year or a semester. The students are still going to be deciding in those first few days whether or not they're going to continue with you. So at least with enrollments being what they are in the States, I don't know how things are overseas, having some way to really grab them in the beginning and keep them is kind of the key to us keeping our enrollments and really meeting our needs as far as reaching students. So ultimately, the important thing, I think, is finding out what students think about this. You know, is this actually better? Is it making a difference? We needed to ask them, because this is semi-experimental. I say semi-experimental because there's a lot of people before us that had done sort of this graphic and media-based syllabus. And also there was, as the technology got better, it became easier to do this. So we need to ask our students, is this useful to you? Is this something that's helpful? And we got some pretty positive reactions that found it much easier to find the information they needed, which was one of our goals. And it responds to what you all had put in the chat earlier, as far as syllabi being just long and overwhelming and a lot of information. It's well organized. They know where to go when they need to go there. And it makes that good first impression. So it's really connecting. We want to connect with our students from the very beginning. And this is one way we can do it, sharing a bit about ourselves. And they're more likely to remember that information because they're visual learners. And they're really connected to that sort of visual content. So that's kind of both the how and the why, I guess, behind the idea of a media-based syllabus or a graphic syllabus. So if there are questions, I'd be happy to take any questions you have. Feel free to open up your mics or send them in the chat. I'm gonna maybe stop sharing.
Thanks, Lauren. Just to say before I'll pass over to questions, I'll just stop recording so that people can speak freely without afraid of being captured. So I'll just say goodbye to everyone on YouTube now, and thanks for listening.